Half a century disappeared in an instant. These albums defined rock and metal in 1976 with powerful riffs, groundbreaking concepts, and raw energy. Now they're turning 50.
Doctor, doctor, please, don't you know I'm...
Here are 15 albums from 1976 that'll make you feel every year. Number 15, Boston by Boston.
I looked out this morning and the sun was gone.
Tom Scholz recorded most of this debut album in his basement studio using homemade equipment and revolutionary production techniques. Epic Records released it on August 25, 1976, launching one of rock history's most successful debuts. More Than a Feeling, Peace of Mind, and Foreplay/Long Time dominated FM radio for decades. The album spent years on the charts, moving over 25 million copies worldwide and achieving 17 times platinum certification in the United States alone. Guitar-driven arena rock reached its commercial peak with this release, proving that meticulous studio craftsmanship could coexist with raw rock power. Bands from Def Leppard to Nirvana cited Scholz's production innovations as influential to their own recording approaches. The debut remains the standard against which all rock-first albums get measured. Scholz's perfectionism created a template for melodic hard rock that dominated the next decade, establishing Boston as architects of the arena rock sound. Number 14, 2112 by Rush. Mercury Records nearly dropped the band after disappointing commercial performance, but Rush refused to simplify their progressive approach. Released April 1, 1976, this concept album featured a 20-minute title suite about dystopian oppression and individual freedom. Geddy Lee's vocals, Alex Lifeson's guitar work, and Neil Peart's lyrical concepts merged into progressive rock's defining statement. The album achieved triple platinum status, vindicating the band's artistic stubbornness and transforming them from struggling Canadians into arena headliners. Progressive metal wouldn't exist without this blueprint combining complex time signatures with hard rock aggression. Dream. Theater, Tool, and Mastodon built entire careers on foundations Rush constructed here. The Starman logo became rock's most recognizable symbol of resistance to commercial compromise. Peart's lyrics about fighting conformity resonated through generations of musicians who valued artistic integrity over radio-friendly singles, making 2112 progressive rock's commercial and artistic breakthrough simultaneously. Number 13, Destroyer by Kiss. Casablanca Records hired producer Bob Ezrin to craft Kiss's most ambitious album, released March 15, 1976. Detroit Rock City opened with car crash sound effects before exploding into hard rock theater. Shout It Out Loud became an arena anthem, while the power ballad Beth gave the band their first top 10 hit, reaching number 7 on the Billboard Hot 100. Ezrin brought orchestras and session musicians into the mix, expanding Kiss beyond their garage band origins into stadium-sized spectacle. The album went triple platinum, establishing Kiss as mainstream rock giants rather than cult glam curiosities. Destroyer's production influenced everyone from Mötley Crüe to Marilyn Manson in combining theatrical presentation with legitimate musical ambition. The songs became Kiss's most enduring material, proving that makeup and pyrotechnics could accompany actual songcraft. Every rock band that prioritized spectacle alongside substance owes something to what Kiss and Ezrin achieved here, transforming comic book aesthetics into platinum reality. Number 12, Rocks by Aerosmith. Columbia Records released this hard rock masterpiece on May 3, 1976, capturing Aerosmith at their peak creative and chemical excess. Back in the Saddle and Last Child showcased the Toxic Twins, Joe Perry and Steven Tyler, creating riffs that defined mid-70s hard rock swagger. Producer Jack Douglas captured the band's raw energy without sacrificing clarity, creating a sonic template for rock power. The album achieved quadruple platinum status, cementing Aerosmith's position as America's greatest rock and roll band. Guns N' Roses called it their primary influence, with Slash learning Perry's riffs note for note as a teenager. Metallica covered Last Child, acknowledging the album's impact on thrash metal's development despite the genre divide. Critics consistently rank Rocks above the more commercial toys in the attic, recognizing its superior musicianship and cohesive vision. The album proved hard rock could be intelligent, dangerous, and commercially successful simultaneously, influencing 4 decades of rock bands who valued groove and grit over polish. Before we get to the top 11, which album surprised you most? Ever wondered how these rock classics shaped the sound you grew up with? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Number 11, High Voltage by ACDC. Atlantic Records compiled tracks from 2 Australian releases for AC/DC's May 14, 1976 international debut, introducing Bon Scott's raspy howl to American and European audiences. It's a Long Way to the Top, TNT, and the title track High Voltage established the band's blueprint of 3-chord thunder and working-class rebellion. Malcolm and Angus Young's guitar interplay created rock's most primal sound since early Rolling Stones. The album built AC/DC's reputation as the hardest-working band in rock, launching an international career that eventually moved 200 million albums. Every hard rock and metal band that values simplicity over complexity owes something to this stripped-down approach. Motorhead, Metallica, and Airborne built careers on foundations AC/DC laid with these tracks. The album proved that rock didn't need progressive time signatures or conceptual ambitions to achieve power. Bon Scott's death in 1980 made these recordings even more significant, capturing the original lineup's raw energy before stadium success smoothed the edges, preserving rock and roll at its most dangerous and undiluted. Number 10, Jailbreak by Thin Lizzy.
It's gonna be a jailbreak somewhere in the town.
Phil Lynnett's songwriting matured dramatically on this March 26, 1976 release from Mercury Records, combining poetic storytelling with hard rock firepower. The Boys Are Back in Town reached number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 8 in the UK, becoming rock radio's ultimate anthem of masculine camaraderie.
I know, looking right to left. If you see us coming, I think it's best.
Scott Gorham and Brian Robertson's twin guitar harmonies created a sound that influenced metal's next decade. The album established Thin Lizzy as major players in mid-70s rock, moving beyond cult status into mainstream recognition.
I know, looking right to left. You see us coming, I think it's best.
Iron Maiden built their entire guitar approach on Lynotte's twin axe arrangements, with Steve Harris calling Thin Lizzy his primary songwriting influence. Metallica covered multiple Lizzy tracks, acknowledging the band's impact on thrash metal despite the stylistic differences.
Move away, do you hear what I say? Come under my breath.
Lynotte's death in 1986 at 36 elevated these recordings to legendary status, representing Irish rock's greatest international triumph. The album Me proved hard rock could incorporate sensitivity and storytelling without sacrificing power, creating a template for literate, melody-driven metal that persists today.
Tonight there's gonna be a jailbreak somewhere in this town.
Number 9, Technical Ecstasy by Black Sabbath.
And now we're through the 8,000 line.
Vertigo and Warner Brothers released Sabbath's seventh album on September 25, 1976, during the original lineup's creative and personal disintegration. Dirty Women showcased Ozzy Osbourne, Tony Iommi, Geezer Butler, and Bill Ward, still capable of generating heavy power despite increasing substance abuse and internal tensions. Ward sang lead vocals on It's All Right, demonstrating the band's experimental desperation. The album received mixed reviews and lower sales than previous releases, signaling the end of Sabbath's imperial phase that defined heavy metal's birth. Even diminished Sabbath influenced countless doom and sludge metal bands who valued atmosphere over commercial appeal. Sleep and Electric Wizard drew from technical Ecstasy's darker moments, proving the album's cult significance despite mainstream indifference. Iommi's guitar tone remained influential regardless of the song's inconsistent quality, maintaining Sabbath's position as metal's godfathers. The album captured a legendary band fragmenting in real time, making it essential listening for understanding how even titans eventually stumble, while still producing moments of genuine heavy brilliance. Before we continue, which classic rock album from 1976 brings back the most memories? Have you been cranking these records for 5 decades? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 8. Rainbow Rising by Rainbow. Ritchie Blackmore left Deep Purple to form Rainbow, and this May 17, 1976 release on Polydor proved his vision justified. Ronnie James Dio's vocals on Stargazer and A Light in the Black established him as rock's most powerful singer, combining operatic range with heavy metal aggression.
We believe that we'd catch the rainbow.
Producer Martin Birch recorded the album at Munich's Musicland Studios, capturing a sound that bridged hard rock and heavy metal. Cozy Powell's drums thundered beneath Blackmore's neoclassical guitar work, creating progressive metal before the genre officially existed. Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Dio's later solo work all stemmed directly from this album's epic approach. Blackmore's classical influences inspired countless metal guitarists to study Bach and Vivaldi alongside blues progressions. The album became heavy metal's Sgt. Pepper, proving the genre could achieve artistic ambition without abandoning power. Dio's lyrics about mysticism and fantasy created metal's lyrical vocabulary for the next 4 decades, making Rainbow Rising the bridge between hard rock's past and heavy metal's future. Number 7. Agents of Fortune by Blue Öyster Cult. Columbia Records released the Cult's most commercially successful album on May 21, 1976, featuring the immortal Don't Fear the Reaper. The single reached number 12 on the Billboard Hot 100, bringing the band's intelligent hard rock to narrow mainstream audiences beyond their cult following. Producer David Lucas encouraged a more accessible sound than previous releases, adding keyboards and softer dynamics. Patti Smith contributed backing vocals to The Revenge of Vera Gemini, connecting the band to New York's art rock underground despite their arena rock success. The album went platinum, proving hard rock fans appreciated sophistication alongside heaviness. Metallica and Hum both covered Don't Fear the Reaper, demonstrating its influence across metal generations and subgenres. The song became rock's most famous meditation on mortality, inspiring countless cowbell jokes while remaining genuinely moving. Agents of Fortune proved commercial success didn't require dumbing down complex arrangements, influencing progressive metal bands who valued melody and intelligence, establishing Blue Öyster Cult as thinking person's hard rockers with mainstream appeal. Number 6. Ramones by Ramones. Sire Records spent just $6,400 recording 14 songs in 29 minutes, releasing punk rock's foundational document on April 23, 1976. Blitzkrieg Bop, Judy is a Punk, and I Want to Be Your Boyfriend stripped rock to its essential elements, rejecting progressive complexity for primal three-chord fury. Joey Ramone's vocals, Johnny Ramone's buzzsaw guitar, Dee Dee Ramone's bass, and Tommy Ramone's minimalist drums created the template every punk band followed. The album initially sold poorly but influenced thousands of bands who heard Permission to start making noise immediately. Metallica, Motorhead, and the entire thrash metal movement emerged from punk's Year Zero reset of rock orthodoxy. The Ramones proved technical virtuosity mattered less than energy and attitude, democratizing rock for kids without conservatory training. The album's influence extended beyond punk into metal, hardcore, and alternative rock, making it arguably the most influential debut in rock history. Queen's Kids and leather jackets and torn jeans destroyed prog rock's dominance, rebuilding rock from the ground up with this relentless 29-minute assault. Before we reveal the top 5, which story resonated with you most? Did you witness these albums change rock history firsthand? Drop a comment and let us know where you're watching from. Number 5, Sad Wings of Destiny by Judas Priest. Gull Records released Priest's second album on March 26, 1976, establishing the heavy metal blueprint that dominated the next decade. Victim of Changes and The Ripper showcased Rob Halford's operatic vocal range and leather-clad imagery that became metal's visual standard. Glenn Tipton and KK Downing's twin guitar attack created harmonies that influenced every metal band from Iron Maiden to Trivium. Despite poor initial promotion and limited distribution, the album built Priest's reputation through word of mouth among metal's growing underground community. Iron Maiden's entire approach stemmed from this twin guitar template, with Steve Harris calling it essential listening for understanding metal. Metallica covered multiple Priest songs from this era, acknowledging its influence on thrash's development. The album proved heavy metal could exist as its own genre separate from hard rock or blues-based approaches. Halford's vocals established the high-pitched metal scream as standard, influencing everyone from Bruce Dickinson to Rob Zombie, making Sad Wings the moment metal truly separated from rock's past. Number 4, Dreamboat, Annie by Heart. Mushroom Records released Heart's debut on February 14, 1976, in the United States after Canadian success the previous year. Ann Wilson's powerful vocals and Nancy Wilson's guitar work on Magic Man and Crazy on You proved women could command hard rock with equal power to male counterparts. Magic Man reached number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, while the album achieved platinum status. The sisters faced constant sexism from industry executives and media who couldn't comprehend female musicians creating legitimate hard rock rather than novelty pop. The album influenced every female-fronted rock band from Joan Jett to Hailstorm, proving gender irrelevant to rock power. Lizzy Hale and Amy Lee both cited the Wilson sisters as primary inspirations for pursuing hard rock careers. Heart opened doors that remained closed to women in rock's sexist 70s landscape, creating space for future generations. The album balanced acoustic sensitivity with electric aggression, demonstrating range that silenced critics who dismissed them as gimmicks, establishing Heart as genuine hard rock innovators regardless of gender. Number 3, No Heavy Petting by UFO.
Doctor, doctor, please. Don't you know I'm going mad?
Chrysalis Records released UFO's fifth album in May 1976, capturing Michael Schenker's guitar wizardry at its peak before personal demons derailed his career. The live version of Dr. Doctor became hard rock's definitive showcase of guitar virtuosity and showmanship. Phil Mogg's vocals and Pete Way's bass work complemented Schenker's playing without overshadowing it, creating balanced hard rock that influenced metal's technical evolution. The album built UFO's cult following despite limited commercial success, establishing them as musicians rather than mainstream stars. Randy Rhoads studied Schenker's playing religiously before joining Ozzy Osbourne, calling him the primary influence on his neoclassical approach. Kirk Hammett and Metallica covered multiple UFO tracks, acknowledging Schenker's impact on metal guitar. The album proved technical excellence could coexist with rock energy, influencing shred guitarists from Yngwie Malmsteen to Paul Gilbert. Schenker's subsequent struggles with addiction and instability elevated these recordings to legendary status, capturing brief perfection before the fall, making No Heavy Petting essential documentation of guitar mastery. We're almost there. Which album are you most surprised turned 50? Let us know in the comments. Number 2, The Runaways by The Runaways. Released rock's most controversial debut on June 1, 1976, featuring 5 teenage girls playing hard rock and punk fusion. Joan Jett's rhythm guitar, Letta Ford's lead work, Sherry Curry's vocals, Jackie Fox's bass, and Sandy West's drums created Cherry Bomb and other songs celebrating teenage rebellion and sexuality. Producer Kim Fowley pushed the underage girls into provocative imagery that generated publicity and exploitation allegations. The music industry and media didn't know how to process teenage girls creating legitimate rock rather than manufactured pop. Joan Jett became rock's most successful female artist after the Runaways dissolved, while Lita Ford achieved metal stardom in the 80s. The band influenced Riot Grrrl movement and every subsequent female rock group from L7 to the Pretty Reckless. Critics initially dismissed them as jailbait novelty, but history recognized their genuine musical contributions and pioneering spirit. The album captured teenage girls refusing to wait for permission to rock, documenting a brief moment before industry pressure and internal conflicts destroyed the group, preserving teenage fury in its purest form. Number 1, Virgin Killer by Scorpions. RCA Records released the Scorpions' fourth album in 1976, featuring the Uli Jon Roth era lineup, creating proto-metal classics like Pictured Life and Catch Your Train. Roth's guitar work bridged Hendrix-inspired psychedelia with emerging metal aggression, influencing the new wave of British heavy metal despite the band's German origins. The music deserved attention for its quality and innovation, but the original album cover overshadowed everything else. RCA commissioned artwork featuring a nude, prepubescent girl with a shattered glass effect, creating immediate controversy that haunts the album 50 years later. The cover was later banned in multiple countries and replaced with alternative artwork, showing just the band members. Online retailers removed it during the internet era, with some countries prosecuting people for possessing the original pressing. The controversy obscured Roth's guitar brilliance and the band's musical contributions before their 80s commercial breakthrough with the Matthias Jabs lineup. The album represents rock's most uncomfortable collision between artistic expression and exploitation, making it simultaneously essential, listening for Scorpions completists, and permanently problematic, ensuring Virgin Killer remains rock history's most debated 50th anniversary in 2026.